Folks, let me ask you something. Should Christian values be taught in public schools? Should kids be learning about Jesus right alongside math and science? Or is that crossing the line? This is a hot topic right now. In states like Texas, school districts are already adopting Christian-based curricula, and some parents are cheering, while others are sounding the alarm. So today, we're going to break it all down. We're going to look at this issue from a biblical perspective, a historical perspective, and even a cultural perspective, because let's be honest, this is bigger than just education. It's about the future of faith in America. So grab a coffee, settle in, and let's talk about it. Before we talk about whether Christian education belongs in public schools, let's answer a deeper question. Who is responsible for teaching children about God? The Bible actually gives us a clear answer. Deuteronomy 6:6-7 says, "These commandments that I give you today are to be on your hearts. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get up." Proverbs 22:6 tells us, "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it." Folks, the primary responsibility for teaching faith lies with parents and the church. The Bible never says, "Let the government raise your kids." No, it tells parents to actively teach their children about God. But here's where it gets tricky. For generations, America's public schools actually did teach Christian values. Schools openly read the Bible, prayed, and taught moral lessons from Scripture. But that all changed in the 1960s, when prayer and Bible reading were banned from public schools. So, the question today is, should we go back to that? Should schools reintroduce Christian teachings, or should that be left up to parents and churches? Let's talk about what's actually happening right now. In Texas, some school districts have already implemented Christian-based curricula, meaning students are being taught about the Bible in the classroom. Supporters say, this is restoring the moral foundation our country was built on. Critics argue, this is a violation of church and state, and it alienates non-Christian students. And it's not just Texas. Across the country, churches are starting their own schools, sometimes with government funding through voucher programs. Organizations like LifeWise Academy are offering Bible classes during school hours in public schools that allow it. Now let's be real here. This is sparking some major debates. On one side, you have Christians saying, kids are being taught everything else. Why not teach them about God? On the other side, critics argue, if we allow Christian teachings, what's stopping other religions from demanding equal time? And that brings us to the biggest question of all. All right, let's break it down. Why Christian education in public schools could be a good thing. First, moral and ethical foundation. Let's face it, America has a morality problem. Schools are flooded with issues like bullying, violence, and depression. The Bible teaches kindness, respect, and love, values every kid should learn. Second, historical relevance. Whether people like it or not, Christianity shaped Western civilization. You can't fully understand history, art, or literature without understanding the Bible. Teaching it isn't forcing religion on students, it's giving them cultural context. Third, choice for parents. Many parents want their kids to learn faith-based values in school, but can't afford private Christian education. Having Christian-based programs in public schools gives parents more options. Now let's look at the arguments against it. Some say church and state concerns are the biggest issue. Critics argue that mixing faith with government-funded education violates the First Amendment. If we allow Christianity, do we also have to allow Islam, Buddhism, or even Satanism? Another concern is the potential for bias. Public schools serve diverse communities. What happens when teachers favor one belief system over another? Could Christian students end up getting special treatment? Or could non-Christian students feel pressured? Then there's the argument about parental responsibility. Some argue that schools shouldn't be responsible for religious education. That's the job of parents and churches. They worry that bringing Christianity back into schools could make parents less active in teaching faith at home. So where do we go from here? Should we bring Christian education back into public schools, or should faith remain separate? Here are a few possible solutions. One option is elective Bible classes. Instead of forcing Christian education on everyone, make it an elective class for those who want it. This keeps it voluntary while still giving Christian students a chance to learn in school. Another option is faith-based after-school programs. Many churches are already doing this. Offering Bible-based programs after school gives kids an opportunity to learn without making it a government issue. Or maybe the real answer isn't in schools at all. Maybe it's in our own homes. If parents take the lead in teaching their kids about Jesus, then public schools won't matter as much. At the end of the day, folks, this is about more than just education. This is about the spiritual future of our nation. Do we want to bring Christian values back into public schools? Or do we need to focus more on Christian parenting, churches, and alternative education options? What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear from y'all. And if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and share, because these conversations matter. Until next time, stay strong in the faith, and God bless.